Energy experts say that President Trump's energy executive action had the United States well on its way to energy dominance. Here's One America's Daniel Baldwin.
President Donald Trump swiftly signed executive actions on day one to eradicate the Biden administration's energy policies. The 46th president declared a national energy emergency, rescinded the Biden administration's past policies, including withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord, and issued an order to maximize production of natural resources in Alaska. Joining us now to discuss, Daniel Turner, Executive Director and founder of Power the Future. Sir, finally, some good news. What did the president accomplish on day one with just these orders?
Yeah, it's a remarkable 180, and this is what he promised on the campaign trail and what the American people voted for, because they saw the price of utilities, the price of gas. Gas hasn't been oil hasn't been below $60 a barrel in almost 4 years. And we're all feeling that pain from everywhere from the price of eggs to the price of bread. And so this 180 is essential because President Trump realizes that energy is everything, and inexpensive, abundant American energy will lower the prices of all goods and services, and it will help catapult the economy going forward. So it's going to take a couple of weeks, months to kick in, right? These things don't turn on a dime, but it is a great common sense start, and I couldn't be more excited.
Well, Daniel, the national energy emergency seems to have stolen a lot of the headlines. What does this actual declaration mean practically for the United States, and why do you think it was a necessary move from the president on day one?
Well, by declaring an energy emergency, it's curious. Is the president going to have the same powers to say, hey, look, you can't protest that pipeline because we need it. It's an emergency. You can't lay down in traffic and stop this from happening because we are in an emergency. And in fact, unlike COVID, we are in an American energy emergency. I look at you all bundled up. The entire southern half of our country is in temperatures they haven't experienced in a decade. It's below freezing in Texas. It's snowing in Florida. And if the electric grid falters, lives are on the line. And what's keeping the electric grid afloat is the fossil fuel industry. And we are on the brink of collapse. So we are in an emergency. And I'm glad the president is putting this as a priority to protect the American people and our economy. So it's great news, and it's bold leadership. We expected nothing less from this great man.
Well, Daniel, the Alaska order stood out to me as well. The Biden administration had basically turned the state into a nature preserve. This now expedites the permitting and leasing of energy projects in the state, and it prioritizes the development of the state's LNG potential, among other things. How does utilizing Alaska's natural resources change the game in the race for domestic energy production and ultimately dominance?
Yeah, and this is a huge point of frustration for Alaskans, and I spend a lot of time there. Alaskans are tired of being seen as a national park. Remember, this is a state that's 2.5 times the size of Texas. It has every single critical metal, mineral, rare earth, oil, gas, coal that could power not just the entire country, but all of our allies as well. And it's prevented from opening up any of these because this is where liberals at their heart see themselves as these virtue sanctimonious people that we're going to protect you from yourself. We talk about ANWR. ANWR is gigantic in terms of its size. It's twice the size of the state of Delaware. The drilling area of ANWR is relatively tiny. The literal comparison would be a postage stamp on a football field. And you're going to tell me that Alaska cannot have an area that size open for oil and gas exploration when we critically need oil and gas? We're buying rare earth elements with slave labor made by communist China in sub-Saharan Africa. You're going to tell me we can't open Pebble Mine, which is a critical copper deposit? So this is where the left has seen Alaska as this playground. It shouldn't be developed, but Alaskans want to develop it. Alaskan natives want to develop it because, surprisingly, Alaskans and Alaskan natives, they also want food, and they want smartphones, and they want roads, and they want houses with heat, and they want to be treated the rest of Americans. And by telling these people, no, you're not allowed to be developed, you have to stay in poverty forever, there's nothing noble about condemning people to subsistence living. They want to develop their state, and President Trump is going to allow them to do so.
Daniel Turner. We'll see how it all plays out, but certainly a lot of good news. We appreciate you joining us to break it all down on One American News.
Thanks, Dan.
For all our viewers asking where One American News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One American News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.